Good morning, PIC students. Welcome back after this long vacation. As usual, we're gonna start this semester excitedly and cheerfully, and we're gonna promise that we're gonna work harder. So let's start. So our first piece of literature that we're gonna work on is a poem by William Shakespeare called Seven Ages of a Man. In this poem, we're going to know more about Shakespeare before we dig deep into this piece of literature. Let's chit-chat about Shakespeare. So who doesn't know Shakespeare? Shakespeare was born on April 26, 1564 and died on April 23, 1616. He was an English poet, a playwright, and an actor. The best dramatist. Approximately he wrote like 39 plays and 154 sonnets and 2 long narrative poems. And definitely his plays and works have been translated into many languages all over the world. So that's William Shakespeare. So let's go back to the poem, try to explore the poem. So as usual, I love to focus on the title. So if you understand the title well, you're going to understand the poem. So 7 ages of a man. So here you have to focus on the word ages and you have to focus on the word man. Ages means stages and man means a human being. And to much better understand the title, let's look to this photo. So how many people you can see in this photo? 7 people, yeah. It's better to say 7 stages of one person. So the poem is talking about the stages of every person. We enter the life as babies and we exit the life as older men. And this is the theme. This is the theme of the poem that we're going to talk about. So let's go back to the poem and let's talk about it. So this poem is an extract from Shakespeare's play As I Like It, and it's a monologue. It's an extract from the monologue by Jacques. Jacques is one of the characters of this play, As I Like It, and he began to compare between life and theater. And in this poem, really, it's a masterpiece of poetry. That is a moral commentary on life written in an exceptional style from Shakespeare. The poem has a classical description on human nature and behavior, which really reflects Shakespeare's deep awareness of human psychology, because it compares between a world and stage. It compares between life and the theater. It compares between men and women in real life. They are like actors on the stage or in the theater. And every person has his or her own role. So this is the poem. We're gonna read it in detail later on. And these are the 7 stages in the poem: the infancy, the schoolboy, the lover, the soldier, the adulthood, the middle age, and the old age. Okay, and these are some vocabulary. We're going to focus on them while we are reading the poem. Okay, so the first part of the poem is all the world is a stage and all the men and women merely players. So this is a kind of metaphor. He compares the life or the world like a stage or like a theater, and all the men and all the women are like players. Everybody has his or her own role. Okay, and he began to say that his acts being 7 ages, 7 stages. So let's see the 7 stages. The first stage is the infant. At first, the infant, mauling and poking in the nurse's arm. Poking like vomiting and mauling like crying. What do you think? Do you think really these are like characteristics of any infant? Like, yeah, he's crying and vomiting on the nurse's lap and so on. So you enter the life as baby, and you try to think, you begin to think, which stage are you in? Do you remember when you were an infant? Like, your job is crying, your job is vomiting, your job is eating, and so on. And then the second stage is the schoolboy. So the schoolboy and the whining schoolboy with his satchel and shining morning face, creeping like a snail, unwilling to school. So this is the second stage, as we said. And in the second stage, after he goes through his infant life, he emerges as a school child. Shakespeare describes him as a boy, having a face fresh like morning, with his bag hanging on his side, walking to the school. In the beginning, he doesn't like going to the school, but gradually his thinking changes. And if you can see the phrase creeping like a snail, this is a simile, not a metaphor, because you know that he used the word like, so it's a simile. So, and then after the schoolboy, we come to the third stage, which is the lover. When time passes, the schoolboy transformed into a youngster. A youngster is a lover who is busy composing ballads, songs, stories for his beloved, for his mistress, sighing deeply for her attention, because he's full of emotions and feelings. He wants to express his feelings to his beloved or his mistress. After the third stage, we go for the fourth stage. The fourth stage is the soldier one. Gradually, he graduated into a bearded soldier. The soldier promises to guard his country, and he's filled with national pride, and he's quick to be insulted, and he's always ready to quarrel and to fight. At this point of time, he is more concerned with his status and reputation, like he want to defend his reputation. And the fifth stage, from a strong, flexible soldier, he goes on to become a judge. That matches me, by the way. The fifth stage of man's life, which he calls middle age or judge. In fair round belly, with good tasty food, his body developed as he gets matured. Practically, he is a blend of custom, morality, religion, education. The visible authority can be well located in him. Here he acts like the ruler or as a boss. He can judge well everything around him. So, and then stage number 6, after he has played his part, he goes into, as we said, the sixth age. Into the sixth age, he becomes thin, wears glasses. The skin around him hangs loosely. The man grows older and he becomes weak. His clothes hang loosely around him, and his once manly voice turns into the second child again. Oh yeah. And then the last stage is, as you can see, the second childhood. With this, man entered the last act. It's like the second phase of man's life, because at this stage, man again behaves like a child. He needs somebody to take care of him. He needs somebody to feed him. He needs somebody to take care of him and so on. And he loses everything. He is without sense, means without. He's without taste, without eyes, without sight, without teeth, and so on. The five senses are fading away. And it ends with dying. So these are the 7 stages of every person. Stage number 1, an infant crying. Stage number 2, a complaining schoolboy. Stage number 3, a lover. Stage number 4, a bearded soldier. 5, a wise justice. 6, older man. 7, the second childhood. So now I want you to take like 3 minutes, pick up 2 stages, as you like. Maybe this is going to match your dad or your little sister or your grandmother or your brother, whatever. And try to write their characteristics and try to match these characteristics to the characteristic mentioned in the poem. This is in 2 minutes, guys, hurry up. And then later on, we're going to write all the similes or the metaphors that's mentioned, or sorry, that's all mentioned in the poem. Okay. That's it. The question of today is, how does man as an infant behave? Okay, man as an infant cries and vomits in the nurse's arms. So you can read this and you have to get ready for the executive, which is compare between the first stage and the last stage, how they are common, what are the differences, what are the mutual points. Okay, thank you guys and see you later on. Bye bye.